Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey everybody, welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV. This is the 100, Season 2, Episode 15, Blood Must Have Blood, Part 1. Joining me today is my lovely panel. I'm Tauri Miller, and this is Alexis Torres.
Hi everybody.
And this is Ben Bateman, rocking out.
Hey Tauri, what's up?
Hi.
Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm Ben Bateman.
And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, like, comment and all that jazz. Be interactive as you have. We love getting your tweets and all that stuff. Yes. Go on AfterBuzzTV.com right now. We are. What? No.
I'm just shaking my head at this guy.
And you can go on the chat roll. Alexis is keeping track of it. Also, make sure to go on iTunes or SoundCloud, YouTube. All the places that you want to be, we are, so make sure to listen and watch. So what did you guys think of the episode?
It was great. The show is awesome. I thought it was just awesome. Yes! I love Bon Jovi.
I'm getting a headache now.
All right.
You guys don't know
enough.
it, but like usually in
so
my
much.
life, I just have Bon Jovi songs in my head playing at all times. It's like my personal soundtrack, so that was just natural for me.
So it was like your one moment to feel like a normal guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Everyone else hears it too, right?
It was awesome. It was great. It was a really great episode. I mean, it ended extremely well. I'm like, cannot wait for next week.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just amazing how far this show's come.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really believe, like, all the things that we said and the characters we gravitated towards and things we latched onto early on season 1 and even the beginning of season 2. I feel like it's all just turned on its head now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the beginning of season 2. It'd be like, oh, that's a cool interaction or that's an interesting idea. And then now we're watching and it's just way, way beyond that.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely grown into something that, one, you can relate to as a person, but it keeps surprising you as well.
Yeah, like that twist today.
Yes, it was ridiculous.
What? I love it because people were tweeting me. They're like, that twist, though. And I'm like, I know. It's crazy. Oh, we have people in the chat. Yay!
Nice.
Hey, guys.
What were your thoughts, Alexis?
Pretty much just how much I love this show and how it does keep you on your toes. Like, I can't even put it into words of how I love how much the characters have grown and how much that it's just changed. Because when I watched it from episode 1, I was kind of like, okay, this is a typical CW show. I'm probably not going to be too much into it. But at the same time, I really love the characters. And every single episode, it keeps changing my opinion. And now I'm officially like, I mean, I've always been an official fan. But this one, chills.
Right.
It's so good.
All right, so
So it starts out right, and they're doing. Oh, did I cut you off, Tauri? I'm sorry.
Stop Kanyeing me.
See, I'm gonna let you finish.
You know what? Go ahead, Ben.
I was gonna say it starts out. And
Beyonce's the best artist ever. Don't you?
there's a strategy meeting happening, and there's like cool little dioramas of all the areas that they're gonna attack, and it's like team one. So this is what was going on in my head, aside from Bon Jovi. They were thinking like, okay, so team 1's here, and strike team 2 will be here, and team 4 will be here, and team 4 will enter through here. We'll have 1 minute exactly. You know what I was thinking? Crop. That's what I was thinking. Because it was like 1 minute, like the Death Star thing.
Right.
It's like, your proton torpedoes have to go in the
small,
Yeah.
You guys didn't have the same moment because
That's impossible.
Yeah.
You can't get into something so small.
I used to bullseye womp rats in my T16 back.
Oh my god!
Oh man,
You just did that.
That's so nerdy.
Anyway, I just was having a total Star Wars moment. I know we try to drop the anytime we can, the Admiral Akbar, but
it worked.
I was digging it so much. I just love it.
Yeah.
It's a continuation.
I love it because even I didn't know this, but Shatner apparently live tweets the show.
Oh yeah, Shatner
I
loves it.
was completely out of that, but I love it because I think he tweeted earlier. He was just like, "What? A minute? How does that even work?" I can't find it right now.
Right.
But
And no
still.
one has a watch.
I'm always driving home, and I'm seeing the Ricky Whittle tweets, whatnot, and then Shatner just pops up. It's always like I don't even follow William Shatner, but somebody's retweeted him that I am following.
Yeah.
Because it's so
Right.
bizarre that William Shatner follows the 100, and he's like the biggest fan. Yeah, pretty amazing.
Nice.
Oh, there you go. The 100. Can the door even be pulled open in 1 minute? Like, how does that work? And I'm like,
It takes a
yeah.
lot of strong dudes, but we'll get there.
Yes, please.
So basically, the strategy, is to have Raven and Indra go down through the Reaper tunnels.
Mm-hmm.
We have Wick and Raven in the dam trying to blow this power supply. And then the rest of the Grounder army is going to be stationed outside the door as kind of a decoy, but also the main attack line. And then we have Bellamy on the inside trying to free the Grounders so that they can be the fourth army or the third, whatever order they go into. So I'd like to start with Raven and Wick.
Okay.
Yeah, we
personally.
should get them out of the way.
You go ahead first. I'll
yes.
save my thoughts for
Okay.
Oh, I can't wait for you guys to hear his thoughts.
Yeah. Well, Raven and Wick, after having just slept together the last
had
episode.
relations.
Yes. They're trying to break the tension. Raven's making little jokes.
Oh my
Wick
God, that
is
was
not
terrible.
having it. And, and he brings up a good point. She does push people away. But, again, not the proper time. And so they're setting these bombs to turn off the turbines. Yep, those are words that start with T. So they're trying to take down the turbines.
This is the worst.
I know, isn't it? And then they're attacked.
Yeah.
So, I know that, Ben, you have a lot of thoughts on Raven and Wick and their relationship.
Well, okay. We try to keep it real here on the 100 After Show.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Keep
not
it
gonna.
100.
Yeah, exactly.
You.
I've been saving that for a really long time.
I was gonna use it, but I was like, maybe.
What is happening right now? You guys.
So, I hate to do it because I just don't want it. When the show started out, I was like, okay, all these characters are on equal ground, and there was characters that I was annoyed by, and there was characters that I liked, and all through the
Right.
first season, as it went, I gravitated towards some characters and others I didn't.
Yeah.
And at the time they introduced everybody, and Raven started to become a character in the show, I really, really liked what they were doing, and they weren't making her a main character, but as we entered the second season, it felt like she was going to be more of a focal point of the story.
Right.
And we've championed Lindsay Morgan on the show to no end, obviously, and for good reason. I think she's a good actress, and I really liked what they were doing with the character. Unfortunately for her, the writers just didn't really give her that great of an arc relative to the other female characters, I feel like.
Okay.
Because if I think about everything that's happened with some of my real favorite characters on the show now, it's hard to even put her story in the same class. And seeing this is the moment she has in the finale, part 1, is that she's having an awkward interaction with the guy she just slept with. Like, we're watching just an average teen drama on CW, and it's awkward and it's silly, and then it culminates with them. They pull off this mission, and she's like, "Don't leave me." And it's
Right.
just, to me, it was just like, that's the arc we're supposed to get. That was your big moment, as "Don't leave me." Like, we've just seen her come out of her shell, and over here we have Clark, and she's trying to take over the mountain. We have Lexa pulling the
Right.
coolest double cross ever. We have Octavia as the second to the Grounder Nation. Indra is these are
Yes.
incredible characters.
Right.
And over here you just have all this potential, and the writers are like, we're just not gonna make her that interesting.
Well, I think that...
In my opinion. And I love Lindsay Morgan. It's not her fault. I just don't think they gave her much, really.
Right.
Right.
She does a good job with what she's given, but that's what was given to her.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, go ahead.
no, I can kind of understand and I can see where you're coming from, but at the same time, I feel like they sprinkle Raven in a lot. Like, obviously, a lot of the things that she builds, if she didn't build them, we would be lost, I feel. And so I feel like that's how they keep her going as a character, but I do understand the arc part. Like, I feel like her character hasn't really grown since first season?
I mean, according to Jason Rothenberg, she was the automatic casting. She was the only cast member who walked into the room, and they literally, within 30 seconds, that's the character. That's
Right.
her.
Zombie Ponies in the chat says Raven seems like a character that is just someone who is there when they need smart people.
it just doesn't feel like I said, can you really compare her to any of the 4 characters I just named? And 2 of those characters were introduced mid-season this season.
Sure.
Right. Well, here is my argument on behalf of that scene and also on behalf of Raven. Her character, in essence, isn't built for growth because she's so stubborn. And so, essentially, I think that moment, as little as it was when she asked Wick to stay with her, was the best amount of growth that we were going to get, because it's the first time we really see her be vulnerable and allow herself to be that way. Like, even when she was hurt and her leg was messed up, she wouldn't accept anyone's help. She tried climbing a tower just to show that she didn't need anybody.
Right.
Did you not feel like, though, when that storyline was happening, that you were going in this great direction as a character? Was episode 3 or 4, and you were like, oh, there's a lot of opportunity here for this character to be a really interesting part of the story.
Right.
What ultimately ended up happening is she just became a crutch. I mean, no
No pun intended.
Right.
dumb joke, but it wasn't a joke.
I don't feel like that, because I feel like they were laying the seeds for this moment. Because to me, in that whole section was kind of 2 different worlds colliding, where when you see Wick kill the dam worker,
That was a great moment. That was a great moment. I agree.
it kind of, last week we were talking about how Wick is still in pie in the sky,
Yeah.
nothing is serious moment, you know? And I think that this was the first time that it hit him that things are beyond what he's dealing with. Things are more important than the relationship that he's trying to build.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's totally fair, and I really did like the Wick moment. I thought that was great, as he's holding the. I guess I just my inclination would be to be all positive and always, because we like to promote one of our favorite people on the show, if not our favorite person on the show. It just was disappointing to see the season's about to end, and I don't feel like we're gonna get that much more.
Well,
Right.
at least not obviously from this season. I'm hoping that maybe after the finale, that maybe her character will go through something more when we have the next threat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because
That's fair.
maybe I was thinking that maybe because the fact that she wasn't so prominent in this season, that maybe her character will feed off of that and kind of be like, stop leaving me out, or I can do it and stuff.
Right,
Even though
right,
she has played a bigger role, we haven't really seen her. So maybe her brace will be worse and it will just cause more problems, and she'll just fight more to be on the front line instead of being the smart person who builds the tools.
There was a minute where I thought Wick was going to die. There for a second, and
Yeah.
and when he got up and there was people attacking, and that would have been the ultimate, that to me would have been. I mean, no, not to say that I want Wick to die. That wouldn't be my point. But that to me would have been a great moment, because it would have been she starts to attach herself to someone and then he dies. So
Right.
she's this
Yeah, that
she
makes
would have been
sense.
this tortured character, and maybe that'll still happen.
Yeah,
maybe
that's
it's
true. There's still one more episode left, and
Yeah.
they've been captured. Spoiler
Maybe they
alert.
just execute. Yeah, if they just execute Wick in front of her, I mean, that'd be pretty frightening for her
Yeah.
character,
Yeah.
and she would have. I mean, that would be pretty wild.
Mm-hmm.
Especially now she's opened up to him. I don't know.
Yeah. So we'll see. For now, let's go on to a little Mount Weather stuff.
There's a lot of Mount Weather stuff.
There is. I've broken it down into different sections because it's so much.
Yes.
So we start out with Bellamy freeing the Grounders. He's like, all right, guys, you're going to be my army. They're making noise, and he recruits Echo, and she's basically freeing everybody from there. While that's going on, we have the witch hunt going on. So Cage makes an announcement to all the people of Mount Weather and says, basically, anyone who's harboring the 44 will face punishment. And also, they're our key to getting out of Mount Weather. So he pits everyone against each other.
Yeah.
And so we get the scene where they're going door to door, and they stumble upon the room where Jasper and company are in, and it's like a scene from the World War II movies.
Yeah, right.
where-
Yeah.
They're looking for Jews and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's German and sympathizers who are hiding them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they were going for.
Yeah, that's exactly what I got from
Yeah.
it.
And
Kind
it
of
was-
Anne Frank kind of story.
And it was a good,
was a powerful scene, yeah.
brutal ending to the scene too.
Yeah.
That's a real testament of where the show is too. that you get a scene like that, and the resolution is that yes, your heroes survive, but then the two innocent people just get executed.
Right.
Brutally.
I wasn't even expecting that.
Yeah.
At first, I thought it was just gonna be, okay, and then go into the intro. But as soon as he shot them both in the head, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
and we're back.
Nope.
So I really like that.
I mean, it's pretty clear that the producers of this show have gotten to say to the writers, you look, guys, if you want to push it, you're allowed to. Like,
Yeah.
We encourage you at this point. There's clearly we've gotten renewed for a third season. The show is being very well reviewed. If you want to do things like that and make it a little more realistic, you're allowed to. And that's probably why we like the show so much now.
Right.
They're allowed to do that sort of thing.
I mean, yeah, after the 4th episode of the first season, Rothenberg had said that basically CW gave him they gave him the reins and were like, do whatever you want, just make sure that we don't get fined.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty startling.
And I like that.
moment.
It doesn't exceed past Tarantino bad, but at the same time it's not cheesy TV. So
it's like
I really,
realistic blood.
yeah, and it makes sense, and it's enough to kind of catch your breath at one point. It's awesome. And
Yeah.
I really like his pacing with most of his deaths and his twists and turns. I really like that about most of the show.
Right.
So yeah, you get he does his announcement. They're going door to door, and then after he realizes that there's some stuff going wrong and he's maybe screwed, he goes to see his dad, Dante, and he gives him an earful, and he says, "Help me, please. What should I do?" And President Wallace just gives him this whole kind of, I guess it illustrated a theme that we've seen throughout the show, which is the strength of the parent-child bond. We've seen it a lot throughout the show with the Abby relationship to Clark.
Yeah.
And no matter how strained it gets, no matter how alienated you feel from your parent, that relationship, the bond is strong enough. It's like blood is thicker than water sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he has a moment where he's okay, I'll help you, basically. Doesn't
Which
say it. But.
I didn't mind it, but I didn't like it at the same time because I felt like he should have stood his ground when he did. But at the
better
same time,
character than that.
and that's why I'm glad that he did it at the same time because I really like that he was like, you know what, I'm not doing this for you, I'm doing it for my people because you're killing them.
Yeah.
So I liked that, but at the same time, I wish he just stood his ground and let his son figure it out.
It was some pretty elegant plotting, I thought. The way the episode ends up with the cutaways and the suspense that they kept the whole time, because the big twist that you do get is pretty unexpected, I thought.
Yeah.
It's not what I was expecting at all. And they did a good job with President Wallace, with Dante.
They did, yeah.
Because they didn't make him overtly moral. They didn't make him so crazy. He didn't do anything crazy. He just had kind of a staunch old school attitude throughout the show.
Right.
And he was in the background a lot. He was used correctly. So that in this moment you expected him to do the thing that he wasn't going to do, but he hadn't done anything really strong that would have necessarily made you... It wasn't shocking.
Right.
It was just a good character turn.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
if anything, they had made you believe he was more on the 44 side.
Yeah.
Especially after he essentially tried to, get rid of Cage and then was overthrown. Then he became a sympathetic character, only to have him flip to the other side where now he is the aggressor.
Right. Yeah, so he... What happens? He gets an earful. They decide to do their thing and fight back or do something.
So yeah,
I think they're gonna fight back.
Yeah. So it cuts from there, and we get a scene with Jasper and Maya getting taken away since they gave themselves up essentially, and Maya's father is blocking off the entryway, and the soldier who's trying to get past him gets shot in the face. Bellamy shows up to save everyone, and then Jasper, and Maya go off to try to help other people.
Miller also kills a dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he
Courageously. Miller's a good character, Tari. What do you think
He
about
is.
that?
He's pretty sweet. He's upholding that Miller name.
He's really
yes.
good.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that this was going to be the moment that Maya's father was going to die, for sure. I didn't think
Yeah.
Bellamy was in the vents. I totally forgot about that,
Right.
to be honest.
Which is interesting that they didn't kill him here, but then, spoiler, he dies by the end of the episode.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Which is sort of a funny... It's almost like, I guess you're just teasing us, but...
Yeah, because the way, again, not to jump ahead, but the fact that we found him dead and the cages were completely empty and there was no trace of anybody was more surprising than him just dying right then and there. So it was a little bit more dramatic.
It's also a nice... they've done this a few times. It's a nice indicator of inevitability and the realism of the show, which is that he escaped he narrowly escaped death in this moment once, but that by the end of the episode he still dies because he's putting himself in harm's way in an incredibly difficult situation, and the concept of inevitability in war is that characters like him do die.
Yeah.
The bystanders. So that was good. It was a little bow on it, I guess.
And I think that, like, if he would have died then, we wouldn't have got the scene where... I really enjoyed when Jasper and Maya... this is probably later. This is a little later, but after they announced that everyone is going to level 5, which is shortly after this scene, we get the scene between Jasper and Maya where she's like, I have no place to go. If I go to level 5, I'm going to die. If I stay here, I'm going to die. And so I thought that was a really good character moment because she's been so helpful, and yet she's in a place of no return.
Yeah. She has no home. Just like Octavia says.
Yeah.
In the episode, whammy!
Dear God.
My buddy's trying to make curveball a thing. We say whammy a lot from Anchorman, but he's instead of like, I'm gonna eat this chicken whammy, like he's trying to make curveball a thing.
Really?
Curveball, like I'm not wearing any underwear or something. That's it's not really. I'm not saying that right now, but that's
Stop trying to make curveball a thing.
It's not. It's not. Never gonna happen.
I forgot to start recording your show. Curveball. I'm kidding.
Oh my God! I was like, no.
All right, we're starting over. Welcome to the 100th, season 2, episode 15.
Alexis, your face was great.
Oh, man. Anyways, now that heart attack is over. Oh, and Alexis is gone.
She's done.
We'll
She's
continue
leaving.
the rest of it without her.
Ben, your mic's buzzing. Bump it.
Bump
Or it's
it.
Alexis'
Bump
mic.
it.
It's
Bump,
mine.
bump, bump, bump it. Bump it. Bump.
There you go.
All right, I'm going to talk while this is happening.
This is a technical difficulty. Curveball, it's
happening.
fixed.
Get out of here. Anywho, so, Octavia, let's talk about her really quickly.
Uh-oh, we're buzzing. Well, let's keep talking about
It's
the show.
fine, yeah.
Please
So,
talk.
yeah, so Octavia, as everyone knows, is Indra's second, and they make their way into the Reaper tunnels, and Octavia is kind of missing Lincoln, thinking that he should be there with him, but Indra trusts him. She thanks Indra for forgiving Lincoln, and then Indra says the words that she's always been waiting to hear. You're one of us now.
She says it, and she says the tree people thing. She's like, you're Alexa of the tree people. Alexa of the tree people, and then she says, what did you mean by that? Because she says it in Grounder. And then she says, you're one of us now. Which was kind of unnecessary exposition in some ways. I mean, it's fine. It's just not like, you kind of got the sense of it already. You know what I mean?
Right.
They didn't have to do that.
Well, I mean, I felt like it was more of an Octavia thing. Because, like, it's like if you had a mentor or your parents. Yeah.
You really want to hear him say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like not enough that they give it to you subtly. It's like if the girl's like, okay, maybe that would work. You're like, you mean you'll go out with me? Say you'll go out with me.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave any more mysteries.
It's like, it's like a thing that would happen in high school. It's like, okay, I'll see you there. You mean you like me?
Yeah.
You like me? Because I like you too.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Oh my word.
Okay, I wasn't like that in high school, guys. That's not how I acted at all. If you guys, by the way,
Dating is a duel.
just by the way, like for the record, if any of you guys don't believe what I just said about being ridiculous in high school and middle school, my pictures from middle school and high school are the most absurd things that have ever happened.
Tweet them out.
Yes, please.
If you go to my Instagram, you can scroll back to some of the older ones. I had blue hair when I was 12. I thought that I was an 80s rock star at one point. My hair was this long.
This is happening.
I went
Yeah.
by
I
Benjamin
don't care if
Lawless
it's
for
in the-
about
I don't care if
a
it's
year.
I
in the
think
middle
it's
of the
time to
show.
talk about iTunes. Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Oh.
Let's talk about iTunes for a little bit.
Okay, all right.
iTunes and YouTube and SoundCloud. Thank you for hanging out with us all season. I mean, we're at the penultimate episode. We have one episode left, and you've been here with us the whole time, tweeting and leaving comments and giving your likes and subscriptions and rating us, and it's been amazing. And we'd love to thank you, and we'd like to thank you. And one way that you can thank us is to go to iTunes and YouTube. hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you comment, you rate us 5 stars if you love what we're doing. If you don't, leave us a comment. Tell us what we can do to improve. We'll be back when the season comes back for season 3. So if there's anything that you think that we can improve upon, let us know, and we will consider it. We'll take it under consideration. I believe that we have some things to read out.
We have iTunes shout-outs because there have been people who have been rating and commenting. So
Really sweet people for you guys to do that for us.
Oh my god, this is like the best music ever. Shout-outs. I can't even do it right now. We have Sarah 1986. Great podcast. You guys do great recaps and go off on great tangents. Keep doing a great job. And she gave us 5 stars.
Oh, that's sweet.
I can't pronounce your name here. I'm gonna say
Spell it.
Rukiadu. Rukiadu? I don't know.
Rukiadu.
Yeah, 95. You are super funny. I look forward to your podcast every week. I would love a shout out. Sorry, I messed up your name. I think your after show is my favorite one so far. Keep up the good work. And Fiction Boy. Wow, this after show has gotten better. I listened for a while and then came back to it after the episode called Coup de Grace. That was a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know what you did, but the hosts seem to have a better rapport now.
We added Alexis.
We hit our stride.
And it feels like good friends talking. Anyway, good job. Keep up the great work. Smiley face.
Nice.
That's great. We are good friends.
We
Yeah.
are good friends now. Thanks, Fiction Boy.
I heart you guys.
Oh, I heart you too.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Thanks, Steven.
So, yeah, make sure to leave us a comment and rate and stuff, and you can get a shout out just like we did just now. Awesome. Now back to the show. Hey, guys.
Guys, I had an idea. Can we
Yes.
take a fan call-in? Can we take a random fan call-in next week on the finale? Can we feature a fan's opinion about the show? Can we have a conversation with one of our diehard fans? I'm asking this on the air. I don't know if we're allowed to do that. I don't know. Producer? Okay, are we allowed to do that?
I'll let it slide.
Yes!
Then
We have permission!
I'm putting it out there right now on the finale next week, which is going to be chock full of fun stuff.
You can take as many fan calls as you really want, honestly.
Well,
We'll
we
just have a time when we can
have possibly 2 guests next week, plus there's a whole thing we're planning, so it's going to be a really, really, really packed episode.
Right.
I can guarantee we'll take at least 1 fan call. If not 2, if we have time for 2, we'll take 2. Comment on the YouTube page and tweet at us at hashtag ABTV100, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are correct.
ABTV100, and we will draw a name from the hat. And if you are ready to talk to us next week while we're live, then we will take a phone call from you if you are that person that we choose.
Ben,
I'm just putting it out
Ben.
there right now. Yes.
Zombie Ponies found a photo from 2005.
Yeah, there's some good ones. There's some good
Nice.
old ones.
All he said was, "Oh my god." That makes me so
Awesome.
happy.
So back to the show.
So, back
Yes,
to the
please.
show. Let's talk about the assault on the door. So,
Yes, please.
we have all the grounders hanging out at the main door, waiting for everything to come together. And they drill into it, place that bomb in there. Little do they know, Mount Weather is staging their own assault.
Dun, dun.
Yeah.
It's a big twist.
I know.
Huge.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was expecting Ben to go into this long discussion.
he
He was
was-
just like, huge. All right.
He's a man of few words.
Sorry, man. Bon Jovi's just I got the chorus was going. I got distracted.
But
Oh
yeah.
my word.
So basically, they're waiting for the bomb to go off. Once Wick and Raven set it off, get the dam and the power down, they have 1 minute to blow up the bomb that unlocks that makes sure that the electromagnetic lock won't be back on.
I thought it was going to take a minute for them to hit the stupid button.
I thought it was going to take a minute for them, for like Clark and Lexa to make googly eyes at each other. What's going to happen afterwards?
Speaking of that,
Yeah.
the moment when Clark and Lexa are having that little conversation, and she says, "I should take you to the capital."
Right.
Napolis. Do we think that's Annapolis? Minneapolis? What Appolis should it be?
Yeah.
Could be
that's-
any Apple. No, I'm just kidding. It's
That's
true.
fair. Yeah, I think that's pretty. Do you know what I was thinking in that moment?
What?
I was noticing that Clark had on a similar, like, general's coat to Lexa, and I was imagining the scene that they didn't show us where she, like, Lexa was like, I got you something, and she's like, what'd you get me? And she's like, I got you a general's coat, and she's like, is it my size? She's like, of course it's your size. And she puts it on, and then she twirls around. I was just thinking, like, it looks just like Lexa's, it fits her so well. I was like, that has to be a special thing she got.
I like how you're going, I hope that Lexa pretty womaned her.
I know.
Yeah, pretty much. You guys didn't have the same exact thought?
No.
Okay, that's fair. We can go
but
back to
that's
the show.
why you're our fashion police guy.
Look,
you know.
I mean, yeah.
If it's not Cage, it's Clark in her jacket. I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie. I actually have a leather jacket with those same studs.
Maybe
Nice.
next week you should wear it
I
to the show.
I am gonna wear it to the show.
Oh,
It's gonna happen.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
curveball.
Yeah. Also, not to get more on the tangents, but did anybody else have a weird hankering for Jello or Kool-Aid when we saw
the
those
red
red
thing?
bombs? I was just like, man, Jello sounds really good right now.
A little bit.
I can see that.
Yeah. And someone else said the same thing in the chat, so I didn't feel alone.
Jello bombs.
Yeah, they were like, where is it? Yeah, bombs made of Kool-Aid.
Bomb liquid. Yep.
Nice. So then
We should make drinks
we have.
that look like bomb liquid.
That'd be sweet.
It's not a bad idea. Next
yeah.
week's gonna be a great show. You guys got to tune in.
Definitely. So basically, now that the dam is down, they have to assault the door, but the whole place is lined up with Mount Weather soldiers, and they're creating a wall of gunfire.
Yes.
And I loved the moment when they got all Spartan and used the metal sheets
It's really cool.
Those
to
were
move
awesome.
forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, there was a moment where they're like, let's put a Spartan shield around Miller's dad.
Yeah. Sergeant Miller.
Sergeant Miller.
Oh, and then Kyle is Miller's name. Is that what he said?
Kyle
Yes.
is Wick's, or Nathan.
Nathan
is
Kyle, yeah.
Miller's name.
Yeah, because I
And
think he
he's-
said Nate.
Yes.
And so they're moving the whole like barricade towards the bomb, and I
Yes.
called it out, and this was not the case. But for a second there, I thought it was going to be like a Miles Dyson moment from Terminator 2, where Miles Dyson is the guy, and he sits there and he has the detonator, and he blows the place up because he's the last guy.
Yeah.
It's like a pretty common thing in like action situations in movies and TV that the slightly older noble black character is the guy that does that sort of thing.
Right.
And I was like, oh, you're just setting us up for the same exact thing. But then they just killed all of the people, and he was under a shield in the end. It was really a weirdly heroic moment that resulted in nothing. Like, I didn't really care.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, how's it heroic? Because nothing happened.
Well, it was to build the tension of like, oh my gosh, all your efforts have failed.
Right.
Pretty much. And I definitely thought he died. So that took me for a loop because I was like, oh,
Yeah.
he totally survived. Good for
Yeah.
you. Good for you.
Well, luckily Lincoln swooped in and he used the flaming
Did
arrow.
anybody else say, oh, I don't know, maybe you should have done that the first time instead of killing
Yeah.
5 people?
I mean, it should have been Plan A, but I mean, I think maybe there wasn't enough fire. It was cool.
It was such
all
a-
right,
no,
Alexis,
I
let
was
it be
okay.
cool.
No. I was okay with the fact that it happened, but in my brain, I was like, why didn't this happen earlier?
Yeah.
It would have been cool just the same without killing 5 people.
Well, he thought about it right at the end when he had to. He
Yeah.
improvised when he had to
No.
because he's so handsome.
We're looking at you, Ricky.
What handsome people do.
Yeah, didn't his abs
misses
shoot
you.
that arrow? They just
Look, it was my show, Tauri. His abs would do damn everything, okay?
Oh, my word.
But then it gives way for the ultimate in betrayal.
Oh, God. It was
To
so
Lexa.
sweet.
So great.
Well, this is before, by the way, we're forgetting the sweet moment when Clark's like, I'll go with you. And she's like, no, Lincoln, stay here with Clark. I'll take care of business. Clark has to survive. I love her. She didn't say
I was
any
going
of
to
that.
say, like, she did not say that,
It
but
was
it was in her
subtext.
face.
Yeah, and she runs off, and like the cloak is behind her. You're like, God, she's so cool,
So badass.
And then she just she pulls the double cross, and she's like, I got my people out of this whole mess.
Yeah.
You can keep the jacket.
Is it? I don't know how everybody else felt about this twist. I was actually okay with it. I felt really bad for Clark. I feel
Yeah.
like that was cold. Like,
Yeah.
cold-hearted snake, cold-blooded. I can't think of any more puns. Like, it was ridiculous. But at the same time, I was like, she's a leader, and she thinks about her people.
Yeah.
Can't be mad.
I mean, yeah, they've said it numerous
of
times.
Yeah.
Lexa's ruthless. She'll
Yeah,
do anything
exactly.
it takes.
The nice thing about Clark in this scene was that she really doesn't stop reacting to that moment till the end of the episode. She's
Yeah.
pretty much reacting the whole time.
Yeah.
And it's interesting when you see a character that has one reaction like that in a television show
Yeah.
for such a long time, because it really is a barometer for how good the actor is.
Yeah.
Can they sell to you that they're that confounded? And I think, there's an interview with Rothenberg talking about casting her, and she was offer only. She didn't even audition for the part.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I mean, I think that there was I'm sure she eventually had a screen test and everything, but it wasn't like we'd like to see her read for it. It was like he's like, we want to see her, and they were like, no, she's offer only. And so she was held in pretty high esteem, I guess, by her people.
Yeah.
And it's like I say this every week, but it's hard to see at the beginning of a show how a main character is going to turn out, because it's very, very hard to anchor a show as that character.
Yeah.
You have so much resting on your shoulders every week, and she's done a great job of really maturing as a character into this leader role. Who you do kind of look to her. I mean, they've given us some other great characters, but you look to her every episode. What's going to happen? What's Clark going to do?
Yeah.
And even in the way that, like President Wallace says, that you didn't underestimate the grounders. You underestimated Clark.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot placed on her, and you believe the actress that she can do it all. So that was a great moment. I thought her reaction. I liked it a lot.
I agree. Let me ask you guys a question. In that, the way Lexa twisted the knife, she said, "I did what you would have done." Do you guys think that Clark would have actually been so bold as to betray the Grounder army?
No.
No, because it's clear, Indra and Lexa, the way that they handle Octavia and Clark in those two moments, that there are different people.
Yeah.
They're just raised differently. You can try to make her your second. You can try to make googly eyes at Clark and give her a jacket. Doesn't matter. It's the end of the day, they're different people.
Exactly.
They just don't. They're driven by emotion versus driven by logic.
Right.
And that's the big
Which
difference.
is what I love, mostly because there's not to again go off topic here, but there's always a lot of talk of how like we can't have a female like in politics or as a president because she's driven by emotion, not logic.
Yeah.
But the show shows that there's literally two different types of women, how these guys are solely driven on like, I'm gonna find my people. But they were also, the Grounders were also on the same boat, but they were thinking that we can sacrifice as many people to save our people. It doesn't matter.
Right.
But with these guys, they were like, we're not killing anybody until we get our people. So I really like that dynamic, and it really shows how different. And it wasn't just because, they were grown up on the ground or they were grown up in space. That's just how their personalities are.
Right.
I feel. I mean, yes, I know that, being a grounder, obviously that's influenced your decisions. But at the same time, there are a lot of women or men out there that think in those different ways, and I like that they touched on that.
Yeah.
It was very cool.
So let's jump over to Octavia and Indra really quickly.
I have a question from somebody who
I was
actually
just
wanted to
gonna
ask
go
about
for
that.
it.
Oh,
it's the same one. All right, go for it.
One.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
want to shout out Kira LMKHV. Some
I
capital
think it's
letters in there.
I'm KHV.
Okay, well,
I don't know. I could be wrong.
it's the same question
Yeah,
either
I'm
way.
sorry. All right, sorry.
She wanted to remind us that she or he, Kira, that there was a character that Indra focused on, one of the Reapers, who we didn't know who it was. Who do we think that is?
I'm thinking brother because of the way that
She looked at him.
yeah, and also the way that she reacted to Octavia when she's like, "I'm not leaving my brother." She kind of
That's
choked
good.
up a little bit.
That's clever. I hadn't thought about that.
That's what I was getting. It could have been anybody. I feel.
I mean, yeah. I thought it was just someone from her village, because Lincoln wasn't taken alone when he was stolen. So it was probably someone during that original batch that is still basically a Reaper. That was my thought.
Yeah, or someone that was just really close, because when she mentioned that she knew Lincoln when he was a boy, I was trying to remember how much older she is from him, and thinking that maybe there is a small child of some sort that maybe she took under her wing, whether it was like a son or just another second in command or anything like that, that she felt close, and maybe he did get taken, obviously, and became a Reaper, and she didn't realize that was him.
Right.
So this episode focused on a lot of hearts breaking, right? You had
Yeah.
you had a lot of hearts breaking. And what do we think like is going to get to be resolved as far as those heartbreaks in the actual finale? I mean, you had Clark's heart is broken, Octavia's heart is kind of broken, Jasper's heart is kind of broken, Maya's heart is definitely broken. Like, do we think are they gonna resolve all this stuff? Also, what's gonna happen with Murphy and Jaha? We haven't even seen them.
I don't think they're gonna come back until next season.
You don't even think we're gonna see them next week?
No.
No, I would be very surprised if we even got to touch their story at one point, because I feel like there's so much going on in Mount Weather that there's no reason to see them.
So then Jaha is going to be the next villain. I think that's.
I mean, he will be an integral
I think
part of the next
I think he's going to be a
season,
huge
but
part of it
I
too.
don't know if he'll necessarily be the villain. We'll see. Why don't we take this opportunity to move into predictions?
Already?
sounds
Are we done talking about it? All right.
Yep.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right.
I was like,
so-
who wants to start?
I mean, I'm gonna go and like
Yeah?
reinforce that prediction that I think I made it last week, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't think I predicted it. I think it was a thought last week.
Right.
I think
Yes.
Jaha is going to be the next villain.
Right.
I think that there's going to be a really interesting storyline that makes him relevant in a way that he has been kind of irrelevant for some of this season. I think he's going to become a very important part of the next season. I think he is going to be the villain. I think it's going to be and if they do it right, man, it'll be a cool story because he's got all the makings of a good villain. He's noble and he's strong and he's kind of power hungry in a weird way.
Yeah.
And you think he's deluded into thinking that he's incredibly important. This sort of prophet character.
Yeah.
This evil prophet. I mean, I think it could be pretty badass.
No, I think that would be a great way for the story to go.
I'm gonna actually piggyback off of somebody who's in the chat right now. They feel like the final death of next episode's gonna be Abby. Zombie ponies. I was thinking the same thing, seeing her and the group being captured from the Ark.
Right.
I feel like she will be the final death. If she does make it, that's fine. I'm not saying to kill her off. That's not what I'm trying to, pitch. But I feel like that'll be enough to drive Clark and the group into a different story.
Right.
Without having her mother there.
Is it possible that Alexa would end up being the villain? Is that possible?
I can't see them having more grounder problems. I really can't. What?
Mo money, mo grounder problems.
Exactly.
Anyway,
It's
but-
very hard for me to see that. Like, I feel like I don't think we're done with the Grounder story arc, but I feel like it's not going to be touched on. I feel like after they take over, they can't stay there. They're going to move on, and that's where the
Sure.
City of Light will be a thing. So maybe that's where Jaha and Murphy will come back. Maybe they found a faster way to travel back so that they can pick up where they left off and bring them into the City of Light.
yeah. I had a weird question.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to take this back a little bit. Do you guys think that Lexa would have betrayed everyone if Clark would have accepted her love?
Ooh, I never thought of it that way.
Well, I don't think that Clark really didn't accept her love because she kissed her back. I think she just sort of said, like, this is not what I can do right now. Like,
Right.
I'm not ready for that.
Yes.
There was also that moment you guys caught earlier in the episode where she says, Bellamy's a warrior, he'll be fine.
Yes.
Lexa says it.
Yes.
And the tone is like, I don't really care if Bellamy's okay. Like, let's not worry about him.
Right.
I hope he dies, but like, we don't need to worry about him,
Yeah, because he
Right.
wasn't even a priority.
Yes, to her, he's definitely not a priority.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that like that moment we saw last episode where Lexa had that moment where she walked outside and she was like, I can't believe I'm feeling this thing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like a really scary moment for her. Like she said when she comes back, she said, I made this decision with my head, not my heart. And I think she recognized, I mean, look, guys, you can be a great person, you can be on a righteous path your whole life in anything you're doing. But you're always tempted or you falter, and it doesn't just because you falter once doesn't mean your whole philosophy changes.
Yeah.
Right.
So she may have been tempted by this one thing in this one moment and felt something for Clark. But ultimately, when she's put in a situation where to save my people or go for this thing I just felt yesterday for the first time ever, she's probably going to save her people.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when she said the line of, I was thinking with my head, not my heart. It was kind of, I felt like it was more of a sting to them because I don't know if she felt like, oh, I hit a weak point because I fell for you. So now I'm just not going to do that. I'm tired of, I'm not going to give in to that kind of lifestyle, or not lifestyle, but like that temptation.
Right.
So, I'm this isn't going to happen. Sorry. Like
Right.
that was kind of a double-edged sword where it was like, I want to save my people, but also I can't have you around me.
Well, it's also just like, what if she makes the other decision, she's essentially saying, I disagree with everything that I've believed my entire life, and my personality and my character is now being severely questioned because I feel something for this
Yeah.
Right.
17-year-old or however old Clark is.
I think they're all 18, aren't they?
18-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
18.
I mean, that would be what that would mean. So I think it's a little unreasonable, and it's good that she didn't do that because it would just be a disappointing turn for such a strong character
Right.
to do something as emotionally driven as that.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, that's my thought. What do you think?
I think that it would have been interesting if like, I don't, I agree that would be out of character for her to be like, yeah, no, we're in love now, so I'm going to go along with it. I just wanted to get your opinions on it. Last prediction, basically I think that Clark is going to go on a super ragey kill spree.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She'll basically be emotionally broken, and then it'll come down to a standoff with Dante Cage. She will most likely kill Cage, and I will predict that in the end, she will volunteer her marrow for everyone in Mount Weather.
And then we'll have to write our way out of that corner.
Yep. That's what season 3 is for.
Excellent.
Cool. So, all right. Thank you for joining us, everyone. So make sure to keep up with us on the social medias. You can catch me at Tauri J. It's TaurijAY. Alexis, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook at atorres890.
Ben Bateman?
Ben Bateman Media, Twitter and Instagram. And guys, remember, tweet ABTV the 100 all week. Tweet us your messages. We will be keeping a running tally of every single person that tweets us, and we'll be drawing from a hat at the beginning of the episode next week. And we will take a phone call from somebody who wants to talk to us on air, possibly 2 people. Remember, check it out.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next week.
If we choose you, we'll tweet you. Just so you know. But cool. Thank you for joining us. Make sure that you'll be here next week for the season 2 finale of The 100. Take care of yourself and stay grounded.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.